June 21st, TV Scott Free Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. Do you have any course? Well, let's introduce our. Is he new yet or next month? Next month. He's elect, I guess. Chris Moonwell is taking Jim's place. You want to? How many of us do you know here? Do you know very many?
Quite a few.
Do you? Who don't you know? You know me.
I met
Okay.
you, I don't know.
Okay.
Audrey Huftel.
Chris Greenwald, nice to meet you all. Know everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
A Merrill born and raised kid here,
Yeah.
so
Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you.
several generations and
But now you know this is a lifetime job, like you said. 26 years. And Richard over here's got more.
It's a lifetime job.
Richard's probably got more than that.
Yeah.
yes.
I've got a year less than you do.
More than a lifetime?
You got a year less than me? Oh,
Gosh,
Christ.
I'm gonna have to go into the records now. I gotta figure
Anyway,
this all out.
Any public comment today? I don't think so. Your pleasure on the minutes from our May 17th meeting. Yeah, you gotta, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve since I won't make Audrey make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve the minutes from the May 17th meeting. Any comments or concerns? All in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Your pleasure on the unaudited monthly income and expense report for May. Looks like everything looks, I don't see any surprises.
Yeah.
Any other?
Would we guess next month the power is gonna be sky high, what do you think?
That's what.
Well, so yeah, and on top of it,
We don't really get to
yeah,
the
on top of everything else, just to let everybody know, the Wisconsin Public Service, they sent out robocalls today, and we received one, and actually Kevin received an email. They are behind on statements for the month of June. We have not received it. So July is going to look quite large, I am afraid. They don't know if they'll even get out next week. And it has to do with some rate adjustments. So, yeah. So we'll see how that all
I'm
shakes
assuming
out.
those adjustments are up. but-
Yeah.
Is there, do we have a motion? Not yet, right? So,
I'll make a motion to approve. I apologize.
I'll second.
motion made and second to approve the unaudited income and expense report for May. Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye. Opposed? It is approved. You know the young lady that just walked in? This is
No,
Chris
we
Moonwell. And-
snuck in. Katie Breitenmoser, county guru.
County citizen representative.
There you
There you
go.
Did you get the name, Katie Brighton? Okay. All right, anyway.
Oh,
Do you know Chris?
I don't think so.
Chris Greenwald.
Oh,
Oh, Chris Moonwell.
He'll be officially joining us next month.
excellent. That's exciting.
All right, the protection of library patron privacy policy. Too many P's in it. Let's see, I didn't think,
Nothing major on
No.
that one, just some language, some minor language change. That was it.
so we'll need a motion to approve if you,
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
motion made and second to approve the protection of library patrons privacy policy. Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Our policy on gifts. You didn't get my name on there yet. How come you just, again, there's,
Grammatical change.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion made and second to approve our gifts policy. Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Our collection development policy. Change some words around.
Just a reconfiguration of the form that patrons submit to the library if they have concerns. Just attended a workshop.
Well, now it's called
So
a
that's why
statement.
it's a statement of
It's called
concern.
a statement of concern now. Huh? Any other,
We need a motion.
Yeah, motion.
At least to date, we haven't had any significant requests challenges to,
Well, I'll make a motion
Yes,
so that we
that's
can discuss that, because I do want to sort of
Yeah.
make a comment
Motion
about.
made, is that a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, discussion?
So I do think that this is the wise way to go, because what it does is it doesn't even suggest to people that just because they say something, we will take action.
Right.
It says we'll listen to things. This is your statement of concern. But when they request a reconsideration, people think we're gonna do whatever they
Change it,
want.
right.
And remember.
And that was the discussion.
This was a long discussion we had maybe a year ago at this time. It is the sole discretion of the director where something goes. It's the final arbiter, unless somebody brings an appeal to the full board. So I think that this is an improvement, because it says, yeah, we will listen to you. Just doesn't mean that we commit ourselves to anything. I'm very much in favor of this.
Yeah. And we did some of our tours last week of the libraries in the state of Wisconsin. And this was a topic of discussion, where people were, where they were at. And a lot of libraries are, looking at the collection development policy and the forms. They're in fact, some of them are, they've extended the length of the form, so that, there's a lot of thought that has to go behind it for someone to submit
file.
their statement of concern, and that,
File, yeah.
yeah, so I mean.
And that's a good thing,
and it's
because
right.
it allows somebody to make a substantive statement, which we may then, at your discretion,
Yeah.
choose to
Right.
act upon. So I think it's good on both sides to make it
Right.
bigger, and more substantive, but also to give you that leeway.
Right.
So,
Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Room addition request to proceed. What were-
There's programming policy? Got a programming policy that we are adding.
Oh, did I skip that one? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the program policy. No, I think that's because there's no red marks on it.
No, that's because it's all brand new. I was gonna put it all in red, but yeah. It's been all red, all red. So, yeah, brand new policy. So if you want to make a motion to discuss then.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the new programming policy. I thought that, I didn't learn anything by reading that. Is that true? I mean,
It's,
I thought we had this kind of built in everything else that we do.
we don't have a specific
No.
programming policy in place, so this is just, and then it's something that we have here. And if there's a question about why, why a program is being done the way it's done, again, it kind of protects us. Again, they can come through with a statement, or, come to us with a concern about it, and we refer to the policy that we have in place.
I just thought that was kind of built into all the statutes and stuff that we follow. But yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
that's why I just assumed that it was just clarifying out the rest of, what we do already. Did you get a motion?
I did, yeah.
Okay, and then
Sorry, go ahead.
any other
Good.
discussion?
Yeah, so in the co-sponsored section, the
Mhm.
question then arises, because there's a statement that says, we will co-sponsor with organizations that have an alignment with our mission. And I'm just wondering if that actually it sort of goes a little bit farther than we might want to, because it kind of handcuffs us to whatever group we work with. And most of the time, 99% of the time, this shouldn't be a problem. You know what, you want to work with the UW Extension, or you want to work with the Farm Bureau or whatever, chances are it's okay. But there's just that possibility that you end up working with a group that has a different mission, and I'm just wondering if that goes one step too far, or
You
people
You
are
mean that first,
uncomfortable.
you're talking about that first sentence?
Yeah, where it says, provided the programs, sorry, this is the second
Yeah,
line, so
yeah.
it looks like it's italics, but I think that was just the printer.
I think it was the,
Right,
yeah.
but because it was angled, it caught my attention. Provided the programs are compatible with the library's mission and vision, the library will generate joint programming and invite partners. And And I just wonder if
Could I-
it's just too close.
Doesn't the word the library may partner, is that significant enough?
It's, do either of you guys have a feeling about it? Am I being paranoid? I mean, I am being paranoid, but is that okay? Or
Theoretically, we're talking about somebody we think should be heard, but we wouldn't necessarily agree with, is what you're
Right.
talking about.
right, it's the marketplace
I-
of ideas.
I don't know, yeah, well, that's, yeah. I don't know if I want to say on partnership, we would provide a platform to,
That's getting,
I don't even, and of course, then you also kind of need to know what circumstance you're put in before you can accurately put together a statement.
I mean, there's, if you look at that last sentence in that same paragraph, it does say library sponsorship of a program does not constitute or imply an endorsement of its policies, beliefs, or programs by any library personnel or by the TV Scott Library.
But so, and that, where that gets us
Yeah.
is a kind of a push me, pull you,
Yeah.
right? Which is, we've got the animal with two heads.
I
But are
understand.
you
Because
saying
I see.
sponsorship as opposed to,
Right.
yeah? And I think it covers, maybe that does cover it, but sponsorship as something different than.
Do you have a proposed sort of way to rephrase that?
I'm just looking at that right now.
Yeah, if you take away may partner or co-sponsor programs, if you just take those words away and say allow. The library may allow programs with other agencies, organizations, and businesses provided the programs are compatible. I don't know. If that solves it, or if it's still, the sort of italicized line is still there. But it is a question of whether that co-sponsor word is the issue or not. And generate joint programming, and that's,
I don't know, I could
I don't
make
know.
a-
That one paragraph is the only one that made me nervous. That's just because of,
Oh,
And I
Control
don't,
Well, but that's just a subcategory, that's just the specifically co-sponsored program, so we
Right.
can just be deliberate in what we choose to co-sponsor. I don't think that applies to all, like, that doesn't
Yeah.
apply to the entire rest of the programming policy.
and I know we
so-
can make things
no.
specific to our area, but the language that I did use comes from the ALA, some of the language that I use, so
that's okay, they're not always perfect.
I know.
It's not-
None of us are.
It's not your fault. I like
Yeah.
everything else, I like
Yeah.
having a programming policy.
Yeah.
I just, maybe it's the control freak in me that says, wait a minute, do we cede any of our own position in those circumstances? And maybe we don't, in which case, we can leave it the way it is and take a vote and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, typically, we're not.
Well, because I think because it's under the co-sponsored, if you have the I Hate Everybody group that wants to come in here and host a workshop, we can just choose not to co-sponsor that.
I mean, they can have it here, we don't co-sponsor it.
Yeah.
We're
I see.
a public
Yep.
meeting place.
Right, I see. No, that's fine, so if you want to call a question, we're good.
But also thinking about, I'm trying to remember the last time it happened, but there were times in many years ago, there'd be like an out-of-town law firm who wanted to do something on, and that's commercial speech, so you do have, we don't allow it to happen, but we're not necessarily sponsoring them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
I'm
so-
comfortable with that.
So where are we? We've got a motion to approve it the way it's been presented. Everybody understands that? Okay, all in favor of approving it the way it's printed, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval is granted. Till next time, right? Okay, now our room addition. That's, no dollar signs because we don't know what the dollar signs are. So,
We don't, and that's why my request is to proceed so that I can obtain those and then come to the board with approval.
Even a step before that, deciding what type of electronics and media capabilities we want in that room, that all needs to be sorted out, or?
Yeah. I mean,
So-
and so that, I mean, I can tell you, I started some conversation with MSR Design. And I don't know if we need to have a motion before I start to discuss any further, so it doesn't, I don't know how you, but what I can tell you is they have given me a kind of a brief idea of cost per hour. And then based upon what we decide to have them do, then they will come back with a more succinct number then for us. In the process, I talked with Nick, because the MSR Design has asked if we had a contractor in mind that they would work with. The thought is that MSR Design would help us with the design of the space, and that is kind of what I discussed with her today. She got back to me today. That's the reason why it's not in the packet. And they would help with the design, work with the contractor, and if the contractor is involved with the MEP, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing portion of things, if we have a contractor in mind and he takes care of most of that, that will bring down MSR Design's cost to us. All right, and then the local contractor would take care of that. Talk to Nick a little bit about that. Nick already, knows that he's got to look at that, the electrical and the air system, that we have. So for a project manager architect from MSR Design, it's $169 per hour. I can tell you that. The architect working with us would be $114 per hour. And then an interior designer, furnisher that we would kind of work with a little bit at the beginning, $97 per hour, with the understanding that they would not be making those purchases. We have enough connections with vendors that we are able to do that on our own once we make those decisions. So that's where I'm at with that, but I don't have anything more specific. Nick was going to speak with the contractor, but then once I knew what was happening here, from your end and where you are directing me to go, I would take it from there to get more specifics.
Do we want to consider a motion for something not to exceed to start with, so that you don't hold up?
How much do we have left of that donation from the poll originally?
About 75,000, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's just the accumulated income that we didn't spend during COVID. So.
Was there also some money that was donated with Gene getting out in front on the meeting room up? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, there's 20,000 there too. Only one of the companies asked for money back. They said the rest of them said, you're talking about the poll?
Oh,
No, I'm
that
not talking
was-
about the poll, about Gene had been, there was just several years ago, Gene was pushing to try to get a meeting room up on
I don't think there's any.
an account. Because there was some money that was allocated.
Not in my recollection. My memory's not that great.
No, I know.
And I'll have a complete report next month as to how much we have available. I do the semi-annual report. I'm just throwing numbers around like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it seems to me there was substantially more than 100,000, but maybe less than 200.
Okay.
Call it 150.
Oh,
Which I don't think this project's going to cost that much.
No, yeah.
No.
So we wouldn't be going to the city at all. We're talking about financing it completely through the endowment fund.
Okay.
Well, if you're not talking that much, and we'll have another
And the
50,000 coming in this year that we haven't spent. So.
Yeah.
So are we discussing this? Is there a motion?
Oh,
Are we discussing
We have
it?
no motion. We're
We have
just-
no, yeah, we have
It's
no
just on the
motion.
agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what I said, do we want to make a motion to not to exceed, to give her, so that she's got something to start with?
Notwithstanding that we can finance it ourselves, but the thing.
Are we just talking about the planning portion you want
Yeah.
number 4? Yes, not the construction.
No.
Yeah.
When it does come to construction, we go to the city and
The capital improvement?
Mhm.
And you'll ask the county, right?
Yeah. Well, it's worth putting out there.
Yeah. I mean, if they're gonna say, we have a $500,000 project here for you, then where's the money coming from?
So I guess I'm confused about what is in front of us, because in the top paragraph, it says, we're gonna move forward to secure bids. And then down below, it says, we're gonna move forward to get an estimate from this firm. And those two things are kind of not compatible. We're either looking for bids, or we've already selected a firm. And I'm kind of lost in where.
I think we're working with this firm in the planning process. Construction, we may
Yeah, with-
The
have to do
construction
bids.
is, I guess, the,
All right, so then we're not securing bids, and the whole first paragraph should be sort of kept or tossed out. And if we're making a motion, all we're making a motion for is to continue working with MSR. And, you know, it seems to me that when we first made motions and approved them with MSR, it was for space needs. Did we, so is this now a separate thing that you are asking for? Is
That was like phase
No,
one.
just
that was
estimate.
phase one.
right? So
Yeah,
now,
their phase two was beyond what we were looking
Right.
for,
And
and
so-
they understand that.
so now all we're really being asked for is the bullet points down here, which is a request for an estimate, which then if you go to the city for, and the county for money, I think you will have to go RFP and take bids. I could be wrong on that, but, I guess I'm just saying, okay, then that whole first paragraph is sort of background, but not part of any motion. Because because those two things are,
Yeah, if you're,
okay. In that case, I'll make a motion that we request a cost estimate from MSR Design, et cetera, to follow these 4 bullet points.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jim.
And the dollar amount? No dollar amount?
We don't know.
That's what I said. No, not, not to exceed. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem because we're working with reputable people involved, so.
Well, the other thing is, I don't know how to put my arms around that number.
No.
I don't
well, I don't,
either.
I don't either.
Couldn't even
I
guess.
can't.
That's what I
No,
said. It's-
that's,
Does it cost as much as a baseball stadium, or does it cost as much as, a new broom closet?
Well, and electronics, the more modern electronics that may be considered for something like that,
Okay. I got a motion made and seconded to approve the request, to proceed with the design and whatever. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Church property.
well,
Again.
we were informed at the last common council meeting that it's dead. So,
Oh.
the guy, there's a new owner,
From
but,
California.
from California, but, his approval to rezone just went dead. But they weren't showing up for one thing, so, they showed up for one and didn't have an explanation and didn't come back at the last
Do
common
we have
council.
any idea what he was contemplating doing there?
A museum, that was it.
A museum?
But no details as to what kind of museum, what it
Did
was
he
going
even
to
have
be.
a question mark after that? Said museum equal question mark
Yeah, it
on
was-
the application?
it was- they weren't quite, yeah.
So we can
Quite
expect to
big.
see a for sale sign up there.
Again. Yeah, well, yeah.
Of course, getting better.
Yeah. And and the parties that owned it before paid little to nothing for that property, and they made a pretty penny when this guy from California bought it, so we'll see.
Used to California numbers as
Yeah.
opposed to Wisconsin numbers?
Yeah, something. Look good to him, I guess,
Do we have any idea what that sale price is?
He got it, the sale price was $169,900.
Well, it's not as horrible, but.
Yeah,
gosh, he's
and it
a-
had started it was in the 200s when they first started, so they kept dropping the price.
Yeah.
They're hoping to get rich quick.
He's gonna lose
Because
his.
the previous owners bought it for like $10,000 according to Darren,
Right.
so,
That's what the church got, the
Yeah.
church
Yeah,
people.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
one church trying to help another church.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
so. That's it.
All right, how about strategic plan and goal number 5? Any questions? Our Wisconsin Essential, who runs the library? It depends, right?
If you were listening closely, we said it already during this meeting.
Sure. Sure. You want to do it now, or
Are we done with the agenda?
well, we've got Lori's remarks.
Okay, after Lori.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let Lori remark, then we'll give.
Everybody knows what I got, but I'll try to explain it.
All right, just programming is crazy here. This library has been so nuts. It is amazing. We are like exhausted by the end of the day. It is. What do we have? Like we're like 400?
We're way over 400.
I mean,
kids. I had
registered
over 300 registered
the
the
first
first week.
Yeah, it's been.
It's unreal. I thought
Yeah.
last year was busy. We're way
I'm just gonna
past
say,
that.
what did you expect? Half that?
Well, last year was 400.
Oh, it was.
And that number, I've been here for 15 years, and that was like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
we were way before COVID, we had high numbers, but 400 was kind of unheard of. We barely ever reached that, and now we're past that now. We signed up at least 10 or 15 kids today yet.
Yeah.
Every day,
Yeah.
every day.
And the activities.
We have
People are
activities
here
every day.
all the time.
We are just so busy.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Sometimes there's usually 3 of us out there. We have the person who's scheduled at the desk, and Tina, our full-time children's, and myself. And most of the time it's hard for the 3 of us to keep up with everybody and what they need and what they're doing, because we've got scavenger hunts and the reading thing, or people need books, and yeah. Some days we don't take lunches. I have to send people home at 4 o'clock because they didn't get to take a lunch that day, because we didn't even think about it. We just literally didn't stop. It's unbelievable.
As support, if you look at the statistics, everyone will see that foot traffic was up 12%. Print was down a little bit in circulation. Magazines went up dramatically, which is kind of interesting because we've been cutting magazines, right?
Yeah.
And which, I guess the question I had, and there was nothing about it in the report, is what's the current status of newspapers? What's happening with newspapers? Going up, going down, disappearing?
We're fewer because the use. I mean, and their prices are going up. I mean, the subscription costs are terrible. I mean, the Wausau Daily Herald is almost $1,000. Yeah,
I just
it's gonna be So
Wow.
yeah,
And kids.
and we're struggling with keeping that one. So it's yeah. So we're cutting back on the number of newspapers.
And then the other question I had from your report was, so how did the staff development day go?
It was great. It was, we had the fire department here. We talked about the safety. Most of it had to do with fire safety and emergency situations. We are going to be at a future staff meeting. We've already talked about doing the evacuation type training. That wasn't something that we did on Monday. But it was great. It brought up some discussions. The organic discussions were great. We talked about, we don't have certain fire poles on certain floors and we should. Those types of things came up in discussion. And we had a lot of, we did some practicing, some scenarios throughout the building, which were helpful. And it was good team building. It was a good opportunity for staff to, get to know each other. Yeah, it was great. Thank you. It was a great opportunity. Thank you. Then I mentioned once before, August 26th, just keep that on your calendar. And of course, this is Jim's last meeting today.
Jim's laughing.
So, here you go.
Yeah, we sure
Just a little
appreciated
something.
it.
Yeah.
Sure appreciated your service, Jim.
Yeah.
Not that we aren't happy to see Chris take your place.
Yeah.
But we want Chris to see what he gets if he stays that long.
There's your
Oh,
charcuterie
there you go.
board, so we're coming over to your
That's-
place now for the parties.
All right.
Sit in your hunting blind line with that equipment, huh?
Yes,
There you go.
yeah,
There you go.
And of course, if
Cutting
it's
board for the fish or
Wisconsin,
whatever, yeah.
see?
That's right. Yep. And that's, So I'm just gonna put a little thing out there. Tammy will love me. The Maryland Richmond Center, if you ever need a gift, you need to go to the talent shop. They have, the area has so much talent around here. I have started using that place as a place to go for buying gifts, and that's where that gift came from. So, it is unbelievable. Cutting boards and wall hangings and the pottery and stained glass and old saws with paintings on them and oh gosh, I could keep going. I could go on and on, but it's pretty amazing. I reluctantly tell people about it because that's where I like to go to shop. So it's like if other people are shopping, they're all going to be gone. But anyway, but yeah, cool.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It amazes me the hidden talent that is around when you start looking a little bit. Like our displays upstairs, I know guys like Bill Pittman was my neighbor, so I knew what he did, but some of these other, that's up there.
Yeah.
Mr. Richard, are you done?
I am.
Mr. Richard would like to make a comment.
Well, you all sort of heard about this letter because I just got it right before the meeting. We've been fighting with the IRS for almost 3 years now. This is for the year ending December 31st, 2020. And I won't go into the gory details, but the thing got filed about 2 times because first I put it on the wrong form, then I put it on the right form, then they claimed they didn't get it, then they claimed they got it, but it was late. Anyway, they were fining us $2,970.95, and they forgave it all.
And is the case closed now?
Yep, all done. Amount due, 0.
Don't make it up with the money, don't collect off of Hunter Biden.
Yeah, if I sent the library bill for $10 an hour, you guys owe me a lot.
At least the charcuterie board.
Anyway, it's behind us now.
Okay. Okay.
Brilliant. Well done.
Okay, then we have to appoint somebody to take his place on what, you're the maintenance committee now? You're the maintenance committee? No, what were you?
Our buildings, yeah.
Building, yeah, okay, well, we'll have to find a replacement then.
Yep. Yeah, we'll work on that.
Next time.
Yep. Okay.
Anything else come before this meeting? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
It's last.
Well done.
Motion made, seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
There. Well, this